Basically, you're trying to find your inner clown. Your inner clown is, I guess, I don't know what that person is, but like
your inner child.
It could be an alien. It could be whatever. And it's like that character is your inner clown.
I think my inner clown is just the Unabomber. That's kind of...
Okay, so you famously know that I don't have any children. Do I plan to have them? One day. But I am very deeply invested into the plastic surgery mummy makeover that I will have after I have them, okay? So they're currently going from 15 to 25 grand dollars USD.
And what surgery is this?
Okay, thank you so much for asking. So it's a mummy makeover. It's a tummy tuck because you have extra skin because it's all stretched out, right?
Yeah.
And then it's a breast lift. The price does not include implants. Don't come at me, okay?
Yeah.
And it's a general just sort of tightening of your entire body. So you shouldn't do it.
Is there anything on the face?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a body thing. It's like
stick an Allen key in you at the back.
Yeah.
But basically, if you want to have multiple kids, do it after
you're done with the whole batch.
Yeah, because you can't. Because then, if you're stretching that skin, taut
you can probably have too many tummy tucks, and then
you're not
no tummy
wiping
left.
down the hob in the middle of cooking.
Exactly.
You gotta wait until
You've got to wait. I'm fascinated by like the new plastic surgeon that everyone says has arrived in Hollywood because like Christina Aguilera and Lindsay Lohan.
Yes,
they have completely
they
new.
moved the fat pads. Like they put everything back at once, all at the same time.
Exactly. So the reason the old facelift makes you look like you have a facelift is because there's no like fat in the skin.
Yeah.
So it just kind of it's taut over bone. But what you need is to fill and stretch.
Yeah, fill and stretch.
The question
Collagen.
is, when is that going to come down in price? Right? Because right now, what it is.
When am I going to get YouTube adverts for it? I'm now getting YouTube adverts for like
by the time we need
Ozempic,
it.
Juniper. That's Ozempic.
This episode is brought to you by...
By the time we need it, it'll be affordable.
You know what I want to get? Okay, not under eye filler. I want to get this thing. I can't remember what it's called, but it's salmon sperm.
I have heard about this.
And you inject it here, and it like just rejuvenates
because
your under eye
what I'm
area.
talking about is nucleophil. Because that's it's the mRNA that just makes your cells generate hyaluronic acid.
Okay.
That's great for under eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I need.
Okay.
But it's injected like a filler, but it is not actually filler.
Because filler migrates and like stays in your face. We don't want filler.
No.
Filler's over.
And we've all seen the scan
done.
of the woman that had so much filler, and then her whole head, she's got filler at the back of her skull.
Can I return to the sentence? Have you heard about the new plastic surgeon who's arrived in LA? it feels like something you'd read in the newspaper of like a frontiers town in Oregon. Like, German dentist arrives in town. Patients requested to present themselves.
It's only a rumor that I've seen on TikTok. There's like that must be a new guy because everyone's looking so good in the way that they haven't before.
Something that's quite big right now is also facial balancing. So I do think that has to do with that as well. When it's like, when someone is like, I want bigger lips, and then the sort of thinking man's plastic surgeon says, well, if you have bigger lips, it has to be proportionate with your chin.
You gotta have a bigger ass.
Because you can't have big, you can't have big lips and a tummy.
Or if you're going to get a brow lift, then it has to be, both of the brows will be lifted different amounts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're like in the Cadbury's advert.
You said that you look like curious. Like,
Yeah, excuse me. I'd like to get the quizzical one.
I'm trying to get the Olga reply guy surgery.
Yeah. Can you give me the milady?
What kind of reply guys do you have?
I don't disclose that.
Okay.
That being said, I do sometimes. My favorite thing is to go into a DM of a reply guy who's been responding for years, and just respond all of a sudden, because it sends them into an absolute meltdown. Because they have already created a sort of relationship between us in their heads, and I've come in and I've destroyed their farm.
Sometimes you kind of actually break the spell when you are part of it.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
they stop talking to you.
Yeah, it's like actually the relationship works best when it's like, have you read I Love Dick?
Yes,
when she's just
exactly.
sending him loads of letters for years and years and years, and actually when he replies, it's like, oh, actually your human presence wasn't a part of this.
No.
It was all like a magical narrative that I was using to therapy myself.
Exactly.
It's very fun. Is that the sort of the sort of obsessive fan or reply guys been like, hey, boundaries.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey,
my DMs aren't open. Yours are.
Keeping you blocked and just unblocking you to send you a message and then immediately.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something you said at the very beginning before we started recording.
I can't remember what it was.
The helicopter.
My ex-boyfriend's brother's boss was decapitated by a helicopter that he bought and tried to drive himself.
No.
Without learning how to fly it?
I presume without learning properly how to fly
clearly didn't learn well enough.
Yeah,
well, he learned about as well as your average U.S. military pilot.
Yeah, I think he just didn't learn how to turn it off properly, or he got out when it was on.
So important is turning it off.
And was just sucked up and decapitated.
That's horrific.
I don't know whether it was his actual boss, but it was a story. It was a story that was circulating.
So did he get? Was it the main rotor or the back rotor that got him?
I don't know. Are all helicopters too?
You gotta have two.
No, they have like one big one and then like the little one at the back.
Yeah. It would be really embarrassing if it was the little one.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. just getting a haircut from the little one at the back.
Yeah. That's back and sides.
Horrid.
Look, haircuts are expensive nowadays. If you're gonna afford a helicopter,
Turkish helicopters give me a high fate.
Yeah, my Turkish.
Yeah. Super rich, super stupid deaths are like a really fascinating thing because like there's no public sympathy for them now.
Like the Segway guy, right?
Yeah, the Segway guy, the submarine.
The Titan submarine, yes.
Yeah, it's like my mum feels really bad for them, but I'm like, what? They can't hear you. You know, they're not going to give you money. With your sympathy.
They're in the briny depths of the Atlantic.
Yeah, they're done.
That one, there was something very 19th century feeling about that. Like four
the Jules Verne.
Like four industrialists perish in bathyscaphe of their own contrivance.
Exactly.
It really did feel like something that would happen to guys who like owned coal mines in like Germany, East Africa, you know?
Yeah, it was extremely hoisted by your own petard. It's like a man that makes a really weird invention and then just like blows himself up. And I was like, well, okay, he was kind of weird and really into inventing things.
Was anyone ever hoisted by their own petard? Is that how
What is a petard?
Petarda. I only know the Russian translation, and what I realized is I don't know the definition in Russian.
So you can say it in Russian.
I actually
it's
know
something
this.
militaristic.
It's a small bomb that they used to use to like break into like castles in sieges.
Okay.
And so if you and being hoisted by your own petard was essentially being blown up by it, like being hoisted into the air by the.
Assuming someone has been hoisted.
Yeah. So I think it was some kind of origin.
Do you know the origin of Steal My Thunder?
No.
Oh my God! Can I please tell you the origin?
Please.
You can.
Thunder? There was a playwright who wrote a play. I think it was Theatre Drury Lane or one of those theaters in the West End, and he premiered it, and it was a flop. But while the play was a flop, he created a sort of like a metal contraption that created an amazing sound of thunder as a theater effect. And then he was invited to see the next play in the same theater. And then he saw it, and they used his device to do the thunder. And he said, "I can't believe you stole my thunder." He stood up and said that.
Wow.
I don't know if it's an urban legend, but I like it.
I kind of felt like it was a god thing. Like maybe that was in not the Bible, but like I feel like two gods were arguing about that.
Well, like
maybe.
a spin-off from the Bible.
Feels Greek to me.
Yeah.
Like the
Bible
sort of
extra slice.
What was the or like the kind of Joey Tribbiani show, but the Bible version? You know? Which one did they make?
Like the spin-off Bible?
Moses.
Noah.
What was Noah.
The life and times of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know any historical facts, but what I do know is that some surnames are actually used to be sarcastic.
No.
So if someone's called
sick.
like someone Goodman, there's a possibility that like, 1,000 years ago or whatever,
man.
they were like,
so
John
Devon
Goodman.
Fuck Good?
Yeah, Devon Fuck Good. Yeah, huge dick.
Yeah, unfortunately, they changed it at Irony Ellis Island.
Yeah.
Yes, my surname is Bust Early, but it was an ironic surname.
When they moved from Ireland to America, of course, the last name was Lack Penis. But that was actually, in Maltese English, homemade fireworks, a popular and widespread, albeit highly dangerous hobby in Malta, are also called petards.
Wow.
Yeah, and which are detonated by the dozen during feasts dedicated to local saints, made by people without formal education in chemistry as an exercise in traditional handicrafts, and frequently injure their makers.
Wow, perfect.
Made by people without formal education in chemistry.
The idea
is
that
a great
the only
sentence.
people who should be doing fireworks are people with formal education in chemistry is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's gatekeeping.
Yeah, it is
frankly.
gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Where are the Jesse Pinkmans of Malta, just like making their own stuff?
The Jesse Pinkmans of Malta probably are... I imagine the Jesse Pinkmans of Malta are probably living in San Marino, operating semi-legal gun stores.
Yes.
I don't imagine...
I love how seriously you answered that question. Like, that is what they are up to. Is Malta where the Cristiano Ronaldo sculpture is? That's really bad? Or is that Madeira?
I think that's probably Madeira, because that would be in Portugal. It'd be very funny if there was a bad Cristiano Ronaldo sculpture in Malta.
Yeah. Really look at this piece of shit. Yeah. We hate him.
We hate this guy.
Look how ugly he is.
We hate him almost as much as we hate Suleiman the Magnificent, or as we call him, Suleiman the Not So Magnificent. That's his last name.
Suleiman Not So Magnificent.
Suleiman the Magnificent was like
he was an Ottoman ruler. Massive turban, huge, one of the biggest turbans ever.
He was the Ottoman Sultan who sort of led a huge amount of conquest into Europe, and one of his sort of major invasion forces sort of like won against a sort of order of Christian knights in Malta, but it was a Pyrrhic victory because they lost so many guys and so much artillery trying to take this fortress. Yeah.
Not so magnificent after all.
No, well, he was still pretty. He did manage to do it eventually.
Okay, so every now and then
Suleiman the perseverant.
Suleiman the
we get knocked down, but we get up again.
Suleiman the persistent.
Yeah, Suleiman the Chumbawamba.
Yeah. Okay, so how every now and then there'll be a story out of Germany coming out that there's a sort of a sect of people who are crazy. Sure, you understand it, like those seniors who were a bit nuts. Do you remember this a couple years ago?
Guy who ate another guy.
Sure, yeah. There's always something coming out of Germany. And there's a type of guy in Germany that my friend's uncle is that they don't recognize anything after the Weimar Republic. Oh my God. So his passport is like, I think he got a fake Maltese passport because for some reason they recognize Malta as like one of the only EU states that is still real. I guess maybe around the same under the same rule as the Weimar Republic.
I'm not a Holocaust denier. I'm a 1940s denier. None of it happened.
We're doing like a new chronology again.
So nothing between 1933 and 1945 happened at all. Anywhere.
This is the new stream of anti-Deutsch thought, which is just that period of time didn't happen in Germany as far as we're concerned.
So all of his money is in like a Maltese bank.
I'm the Burgermeister of Malta.
Sorry, please.
His money's in the Maltese bank, and he had a bunch of guns, and that got in the news because they were like, "This is Germany, you can't have guns." But anyways, it's I think an interesting kind of guy.
But does he only have like 1920s guns?
Yeah, I think
like
so.
Derringers.
I think they're like hunting rifles. They're not like AK-47 or anything.
But he's got like a Webley service revolver. Yeah.
And like a penny farthing. I mean, what would you even
a musket
do? Where do you go? Where do you shop if you don't believe in anything?
I guess you go to Malta.
Yeah, you go to Malta.
Is he still using the Renton mark? Is he like taking a wheelbarrow full of cash to buy his groceries?
Yeah, but like you can't take a wheelbarrow full of cash to like Lidl, because surely you wouldn't recognize
Lidl. You get a job
Lidl.
at the West End production of Cabaret.
Yeah, exactly. There just must be so many loopholes in your belief system.
I am actually the gaffer on Babylon Berlin. I set up and strikes the lighting. I don't like that it's LEDs. This is not honest Edison bulbs.
Wow,
it doesn't get hot at all. The lighting barely explodes.
I do kind of like the idea of that though. Like I think there must be something so soothing about just living a life of such denial, such deep denial.
Mm-hmm. Can I interest you in being Amish?
Yeah, for sure you can.
Yeah?
Can I say something that could easily be taken the wrong way?
Absolutely.
Please.
This is the place for.
Yesterday rewatched for maybe the fourth time the Netflix documentary on the Unabomber.
Yeah. Great choice.
Perfect. Yeah. This is the right place to talk about that.
There are some elements of that lifestyle that I am deeply into.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like mailing explosives to people.
Well, you said you want to be Sleepy Time Bear, and you could be that in the cabin.
Sleepy Time Bear in the cabin. All he does all day, tiny room, reading books, eating soup.
Writing a manifesto.
And being a hater. I'm sorry. It's everything I want.
All I'll say is both of you went to extremely prestigious universities. So
and it went, and like our professors are there were glimmers of hope, but they're very upset with me. Some of my old professors still follow me on Instagram, and I have one that just views my stories immediately, and I'm like, you must be so right. No, it doesn't feel right.
What is the vibe there?
I don't know. Well, she's like a professor of erotic art.
Okay.
And so I think she's kind of into the idea of like
Instagram.
performance stuff. I think she kind of wants me to be a performance artist.
I see.
But then what I do is like so much worse than performance
She
art,
wants you to be Marina Abramovich.
Yeah, she wants me to be Yoko Ono.
Okay.
But I'm not doing cut piece, like I'm just doing jokes about like buttholes and UTIs. And so I don't think that that's really what she wants me to do. But
I would love to see Yoko Ono do that, though. Well, I'd love to see her have a go.
Stand-up comedy.
Have you considered being like what I'm... Because you can still just do that. If you take one step back, you'd be like, this is performance art observing about stand-up comedy, butthole, UTI, etc.
Yeah, exactly. They're actually like the
you
boundary.
have to put quotation marks around anything and it can become performance art.
Exactly. The boundary between stand-up and like performance art isn't that big.
It's just being less funny.
It's just being less funny.
Too funny to become performance
Exactly.
artist. That's so annoying.
People like me too much. Yeah. I'm not freaky enough.
The French have been trying to blur it for years. In terms of it, have you considered doing the stand-up in a less funny way? Have you considered maybe just using props that add basically nothing to the performance?
Yeah.
I'm really scared of clown school. I think it could maybe really help me, but maybe I'm scared.
Who do you think your clown is?
What are you talking about?
But Engolier, which is like the most prestigious clown school in the world.
Yeah.
Which is a hell of a sentence in and of itself.
Well, the whole thing, is it like Lecoq? Whatever it is. Basically, you're trying to find your inner clown, and your inner clown is, I guess, I don't know what that person is, but like, it could
your
be
inner
a little
child.
girl. It could be an alien. It could be whatever. And it's like that character is your inner clown.
I think my inner clown is just the Unabomber. That's kind of... that's what I'm so afraid
that's why
of. That's why I can't go to clown school, you know?
Yeah.
Many air hostesses would just die.
That's what MK Ultra was. It was the American Gole.
Yeah.
They brought out his inner clown. Yeah.
So what's your inner clown, Milo?
What is my inner clown?
Surely you must have an inkling.
I don't know. I feel like I'm so far from clown.
Well, because your stand-up comedy is so distanced.
Because I got into stand-up comedy because I'm a deeply cynical person, and I think being cynical about the world is correct. And like when people do comedy from a non-cynical perspective, I'm like, that's not comedy.
But wait,
that's
surely,
other art.
Yeah.
Surely that's your inner clown, is a kind of sort of a harumphing,
a cynical little boy.
Grizzled, yeah.
A sort of a harumphing, upset, cynical.
Okay, I'm just gonna Google how to find. Maybe there's a quiz.
Cantankerous.
Okay.
Just because I can't tell whether
BuzzFeed had us in 2014.
I can't tell whether inner clown is you leaning into the sort of the parts of yourself or is subverting them completely. So is the super optimistic little boy your clown?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
How to find inner clown. I mean,
how to find inner clown by Duodenum.
But honestly, I'm gonna save you so much money that you won't have to pay to an old French man.
That's great. Yeah,
you can if you want.
Yeah.
I think because like there's a lot of like inner child stuff, and I meet a lot of people where I'm like, I think the inner child needs to go more in, you know, like I think it should be inner more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want an outie.
It's not outerwear. You don't want an outie child.
No.
I mean, that's just what a Disney adult is, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm terrified of Disney adults.
Yeah, there's something about them that's so.
I'm a Disney adult.
Yeah, but you're
Watch
self-aware
your
about it.
fucking mouth.
There's something about Disney adults that is just like what Hannah Arendt was talking about. Like it is just the banality of evil, you know? Like I'm like, like there's just something
Eichmann
about
in Jerusalem
them.
was really mostly about his favorite rides at Disney World.
Because I'm like, there's something that like they're so joyous around just like huge capitalist enterprises, then it's really frightening. But in a way, is it just that they're enjoying nice things? Is it that simple?
I think for me, it's the fact that it's for children. I think that's what's so spooky about it.
I think it's ultimately there are a lot of people who just
Harry Potter adults the same.
It's not even like a funny observation, just an observation. Is that a lot of people are just want comfort.
Yeah.
And
totally,
we live in a very lonely world that offers very little in the way of connection and comfort.
Yeah.
And people probably just want.
They miss Goofy.
I personally don't.
Yeah.
Or I get my comfort from other places.
Yeah.
You know, I get my comfort from the usual stuff I talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
We have no trellis for like meaning anymore. You know, I was trying to write stand up about this the other day that like my grandparents had church, my mum had Darren Brown, and like various bald men with magical powers, and we're just like in this kind of barren land where like. There's a bit of astrology.
No one can guess your phone number anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's why my ex-boyfriend is becoming a priest now or something.
Yeah.
I will say,
I was hearing about that.
There is.
Wait.
What I will say, there was a very interesting Twitter thread about a woman who I think is a professor of religious studies talking about how Disney is the new religion.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't fully agree with it, but it is interesting to be like gathering places, having a value system that is whatever.
Yes, totally. And also like so obviously in like the 30s, kind of there was an idea that like God had died because how much, you know, atrocities had happened. And like what the surrealists thought was that like the new religion was just shopping centres because people would go there on a Sunday instead.
Yeah.
And like mannequins were like the new
In
idols.
the 30s?
No, in the 30s. In your 30s.
Oh,
yeah.
in your 30s.
Yeah. Everyone just goes to like Blue Water.
Yeah.
And like the mannequins of like that was almost replaced like Christ in the sense of like, this is what you should be, this is what you should aim for. Whereas we used to think like, oh, Christ is what you should aim for. And now it's like, no, you should aim for like a chunky belt, you know?
And now it's a face that is both fat and wrinkle-free.
Yeah, exactly. But what really annoys me about fat mannequins is that they still have a thigh gap.
You know what? True words have never
Maybe
been
it's because of
spoken.
the
really
angle of their hips. I read a thing that apparently the thigh gap is mostly to do with how your pelvis is constructed.
Yeah, it's all about the exactly.
Childbearing hips.
Yeah. And so you can have you could be like exactly the same level of thinness as another person, but one person have a thigh gap and the other not because of the.
And if anyone is clocking a thigh gap, that's eating disorder culture.
Yeah.
Whether it's there or not
well,
there.
Obviously that's me. Obviously that's me. Do you want to know something really funny?
Please.
Yeah,
I have a sense that it's going to be quite dark.
Yeah, this is on the kind of whole magical bald men culture that I was brought up in.
Yeah.
Who are the other magical bald men apart from Darren
Paul
Brown?
McKenna.
Paul McKenna. Okay. Oh,
and he did mainly.
Okay,
he did mainly like
Paul McKenna's
therapeutic
a hypnotist
stuff.
Dr. Phil, kind of.
Dr. Phil, kind of. Do you think if you put your hands on Darren Brown's head, all of your hair would go static? Like, do you think he has that much power?
Yeah. Like
I'd assume so.
Yeah.
His brain has static energy.
On my 13th birthday, my mum's friend got me a Hypnosis DVD by Paul McKenna, and it was called Freedom from Emotional Eating.
Okay.
And that was my birthday present for my 13th birthday. And she'd met me twice.
Okay, yeah, well, that is, as a predicted,
okay,
quite fucking
everyone's
dark.
laughing. Everyone's laughing.
She'd met you twice, but she'd made some she'd made some insights.
No, I think my mum had just told her that I had some like problems with eating so much. But
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, I was amazing because I also received a Paul's Boutique bag. Do you remember them?
Yeah, Paul McKenna's Boutique.
Yeah, Paul McKenna's Boutique. And I just put the DVD in the bag.
Yeah. It's like a big corset from Paul McKenna's
And also
Boutique.
like the woman that gave it to me was like, this really helped me. And I was like, doesn't. But yeah.
I like the idea of like savagely bitchy 13-year-old. That's very funny.
Yeah, but that was my experience.
Maybe you need to watch this again.
Yeah.
Maybe let's do a rewatch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you burned it before you gave it to me, I assume.
Yeah. You're gonna need a copy with this. Yeah. And you're fucked. Yeah, it is kind of fucked.
Sorry.
Oh no, I think it's funny, but obviously nobody agrees. This always happens to me. This always happens to me. I like reveal something, and I'm like, haha, and everyone's like, oh dear.
Oh no.
That's been my whole stand-up career.
But it's also one of those things where you know when a tiny little baby falls and you can't be like, oh my god, because I'll start crying.
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
can be like,
yeah.
everything is fine. So I'm like, if I tell you, what if you start crying?
I have a question.
Okay.
Did you watch the Paul McKenna DVD?
Yes, and it was stuff like
hang on, I'm going to see if there's reviews of it.
It was stuff like you have to listen to it while you're eating a meal, and it kind of tells you, isn't this nice? Isn't this enough food? Like it's that kind of thing while you're eating a meal.
You're a dirty little piggy.
Yeah, you're dead. You do not need
disgusting.
more food. Yeah, it was that kind of thing.
Okay.
Are you fucking done?
Zach Loverman reviewed this purchase on 30th of November 2016. Worst case scenario, I'm fatter because of this book. Did he eat the book? I'm fatter because of this book. I've given this a couple months since it says it may take time, but I am 3 kilograms heavier.
Damn.
Wow.
My God.
It's got really bad reviews.
Zach Loverman, who's also tried his gay conversion DVD.
Replacement for religion, maybe religion is like net worse than that.
Yeah. It's all just people wanting to be integrated into a group that will regulate them. That's it.
Yeah.
We're just seeking it.
Community.
It's everything that gets it, everything that should get, we just relentlessly destroy it.
Yeah.
And then the only people with any of it left are Mormons.
Yeah. But also I think that like human beings do need on some level to believe in magic in some way. And that is what Disney is. And that is what astrology is. It's like there are powers kind of beyond our control. Life is really unfair. Random, arbitrary stuff happens all the time. But if we just kind of believe that there's like a person that's like looking out for you, then that's all you need.
It's the human brain is not a truth-seeking engine. It's a survival engine.
Yeah.
It's better to act as though there are patterns that aren't there. Than to be, completely...
Like those mice that get sporadic reward and go crazy.
Yes, exactly. That's what TikTok is. It's just a rat on a lever.
Angelica Parker, 9th of April 2016, 1-star review, arrived with missing CDs.
Oh no, someone ate them.
It was the first guy.
The people who buy this book are too hungry.
Another one.
Never buy a used copy of Paul McKenna's book.
13th of June 2016. Amazon customer, missing. I was unhappy with this purchase because the CDs and DVDs were missing.
Wow, someone's been eating them.
There's a pattern.
My Strange Addiction.
There is a pattern.
It's that first guy.
Yeah.
He's chomping through all the CDs
But I
and
do
DVDs.
think that was a thing in the noughties, was like bald men that had magical powers. That was like what women were really into, you know?
Yeah.
Greg Wallace, and now where he is.
Yeah. And now,
Sven-Göran Eriksson.
yeah.
Yeah.
The guy from I'm Blue Dabu Dee Dabu Die.
Yeah, him.
Is he magic?
The Blue Man Group.
But hold on, no, they're just unusual. They're not magic.
They're not magic.
The Blue Man Group. They're unusual.
Pitbull, I guess.
Well, they are quite
Pitbull
unusual.
still
No,
is.
he's just Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
The Blue Man Group are unusual. Their whole thing is that they sort of bug out their eyes and kind of
And they're blue,
and they sort of tilt their heads like dogs, and then they drum.
And they play pipes or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
No,
have
I
you
agree.
have you ever seen the Blue Man Group?
Not
It's
like a full
Stomp,
show.
but they're all bald and blue.
Yeah, it's like I've seen the Blue Man Group.
What were you
You've
I
seen
have
talking
no
it,
about?
wait,
idea
what?
what anyone's talking about. The
Okay,
Blue
the Blue Man Group
Group
is a legendary off-Broadway show that I think is just closing about now, but it's been on for about 20 years. They have like an offshoot in Vegas, and essentially imagine Stomp, but it's performed by a group of only men who are painted blue and who are bald.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like musical Braveheart. Everyone's painted blue.
Yeah, they show you their ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not Blue Magic Mike.
I blew, man.
So, no,
Tobias Funke in Arrested Development.
Yeah.
yeah,
auditions for it.
See.
yeah, that's why he's blue for much of it.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I saw the Bloomin' Group.
Okay.
All right. And I was a little too young.
Blooming Group. Yeah,
Yeah,
anyway.
absolutely.
Locations are Boston, Las Vegas, Berlin, and London.
Wow.
I must have seen them either in Toronto or New York. They might have come to Toronto
Who's
for a
going
while.
to the Blue Man Group in Berlin? I'm fast. That's such a non-Berlin thing.
It's got a
It's like
Berghain
people from
feel
other
to
But
it.
is it
parts
a
of
horseshoe
Germany.
thing where it's like so wrong it's right? You know?
Like, my wife and I have driven here from Hamburg. The only show we enjoy is Blue Man Group.
I think
with
it's
Ball's
more
work in
sex
the
party
factory.
adjacent than you think. There's something
Okay.
deeply erotic about a bunch of bald men who look the same and who aren't speaking.
Well, there's like
Yeah,
guys who are
yeah,
trying to fuck the
definitely.
blue men.
Mhm.
So what?
Guys who are trying to fuck the blue men. Like
Yeah.
they're coming
Yeah.
away with like a bit of
To
blue
blue the
paint
blue.
on themselves.
Also, famously, bald
Yeah.
men are bald because they have too much testosterone.
Oh my God. Tell
Yeah,
me
yeah,
about
yeah.
it, girl.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
Bald men
Toronto
can't
at the
stop
I
saying
must have
that.
seen them when in 2005 when they were at the Panasonic Theater in Toronto.
And did you lose your little mind? Did they blew your mind?
I think I was just a little bit. I think I wanted to go to the Warhammer store mostly.
You miss Pierre, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
He's not here.
I think maybe the Blue Man Group might also be an example of clowning.
Yeah.
I think they might
yeah.
be. They,
That's really good, Riley. I'm sorry.
thank you, primary school teacher.
When I initially taught them in France, they were painted a different color, but apparently it didn't play abroad.
Oh my fucking God.
They were
Have you
Dutch
heard-
originally, and they really had to change that.
Well, there is nothing to be composed or rehearsed, for our inner clown already lives inside us. The journey towards finding
That's
our
kinda
inner clown
scary.
starts when we let go, when we allow our clown to take its first steps on its own, and we stop recurring to what we see as clown-like tricks and forget all about our prejudices.
Mhm.
So what's coming out of you without intention?
Okay.
I love it when something gives you like the most unhelpful advice. I find this so often
Yeah.
about like creative work. They're just like, just like don't think. And I'm just like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, there's so
Like-
much advice online that, like, if it was a maths equation, it would be like 4 - 4 = 0. It's like kind of do your own thing, be yourself, and remember that everything's
what
going
they're
to be
doing
okay.
is they're giving you the end state, not
Yeah.
the method.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Just
was
find it out.
constantly being advised by people throughout my life to like just be yourself. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Give me steps.
Who
Yeah.
I am is like a mosaic of devotion to all of the YouTube videos I've just watched, you know?
Ah.
Like that's who I was as a teenager.
Well, you know how they say that diets don't work because they are impossible to follow?
Yeah.
And so obviously people don't see the results of them. And then whoever created the diet is like, well, the reason that it didn't work for you because you didn't follow the steps, but it's impossible to follow the steps.
Yeah.
And so it's the same as like, well, here's the self-help book. And if
Yeah.
you follow the steps, you would succeed. but it's impossible to follow the steps. So you didn't succeed, but it's because you didn't follow the steps.
Yeah. So then you call that like plastic surgeon who's just arrived in LA.
The new one, the new talent on the scene,
the new guy, the new kid on the block.
It's like the devil comes to Moscow. Yeah. There's a mysterious plastic surgeon. He's arrived. He's receiving clients in the abandoned mansion on top of the Hollywood Hills.
His assistant is like a cat that walks on its hind legs.
And his entire basement is obviously painted like Dorian Gray style paintings of Lindsay Lohan and Christina Aguilera getting older in the basement of the mansion.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that's pretty
so
good.
Smooth.
If Picture of Dorian Gray was a service, they'd all be doing it.
Yeah,
I'd be doing
totally.
What are you talking about? Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, you could never wear. You could just never wear sun cream, and then the picture would just be getting like, wrinkly.
You can just never wear sun cream. You've just invented being English.
What are you talking about? No, you even need. I've said this on this show many times before. It's so important. You need to wear it every day, even if it's dark.
Yes,
I do wear sun.
No,
even if I'm staying inside, because I can get through the window. And what about the laptop screen?
Sunny days, yes. Dark, like winter, no, you don't need to.
Every day.
Yes, you do.
I wear SPF 50 every single day.
Who's wearing SPF 50 right now?
Yeah, people with anxiety. Okay, right. Now, in the case of Bella and Olga, there's been a years-long sexist campaign to market this to them, right? It's excusable. In your case, you have made yourself insane. You had all the advantages of being a man, and you voluntarily chose to become insane about how you look.
I will completely agree with you if your skin wasn't the worst of the four of us.
People living in glass houses
should wear SPF 50.
I think my SPF is kind of my religion in a way. I'm just like, if I do my SPF,
it's just in search of.
If I do my retinol every night, then I'm gonna. It's something to do.
How old are you to use retinol?
I'm 26. I've been using it for like 4 years.
Preventative, not cure.
That's bullshit.
Is it bad?
No, I think it's fine.
I think it's fine.
No, I'm happy with what I've got. I'm not trying to add to my own little rituals.
Well, you're also getting plastic surgery.
You're happy with what you got. You're not trying to get big naturals.
Get some naturals.
Big naturals.
Well, how do you get big naturals? It's impossible.
Yeah.
Verily, Socrates.
What could you take estrogen?
Yeah.
I get fine. Yeah.
Or get
there
implants?
we go. But no, they're not natural.
Oh,
they're unnatural.
Yeah, no, that's
estrogen would be natural, but you need progesterone as well. You need both.
Well, I think you take that, but then also, or the reverse of that, you do a bunch of TRT and you bulk so much it's all muscle titties.
But I'm only doing chest day.
Yeah, so midi time.
I'm skipping leg day,
because big boobs
shoulder
don't
day,
count if you also have
day,
big arms,
hip day.
Abs.
You need big boobs, twig arms.
Just gigantic pecs. I'd be like one of those guys that gets like you know the guys, the twins who sort of get increasingly bizarre plastic surgeries because to look like you know the guys.
Yeah,
they kind of look like Jedward. No.
Yeah, the guys who have the. Who have the faces who look like
I got the plastic surgery to make me Irish.
Do you remember Crazy Bones? They were marketed in the 90s to children.
This isn't Da Vinci.
They look like Crazy Bones.
These guys, right?
Yeah,
no, it's not.
Look at them.
Oh God.
Oh.
Is that what I look like?
They kind of look like the Cheshire Cat.
They definitely are feline. And a little bit.
I also found a little more detail in Finding Your Inner Clown, which we can go back to.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
So this is from Stage Link, Accessing Connection to the Performing Arts, Finding Your Clown Character. One of the ways to find your clown character is to invent a biography for them. To do this, you need to ask yourself questions about them, such as, where does their character's personality come from? Maybe the moon or Mars? How old are they? What do they like or don't they like? Who are their parents? How do they view women or men? What is their favorite food, their favorite drink, and so on and so on. Ask yourself these questions and try to find try to answer
My clown has an emotional eating problem.
Yeah. My clown is an emotional binge eater.
Yeah.
But then the idea of like, and if everyone's inner clown is just already in there, it's just asking you to make it up.
Yeah, I think so.
So you're just going to make up something that's always lived inside you?
This is why I don't understand clowning.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's taking feelings that you've had inside you forever and sort of personifying them.
Sure.
So it's not just binge eating, it's a clown that binge eats.
Sure, okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what presumably
Okay, I
so
think the inner clown's out. Yeah.
But it's like, who's the clown who loves getting into the car?
A tiny
Do you love
car.
cars?
Yeah, I guess.
You don't
what about a
love
clown
cars.
car?
It's just I think you cling to your car.
I cling to my car.
You cling
That's
to your
my
car.
religion, you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stuff.
I think you love the idea of the freedom that a car provides, but I don't think you sort of are a petrol head in any sense.
I think your clown is the guy you almost became when you could have gone right wing but didn't.
I don't think I sort of could have gone right wing but didn't.
Libertarian. You could have gone hyper libertarian.
I think I could have like pursued a more I could have had more of a gilet life.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Quarter zip guy.
I think I could have taken a quarter zip gilet path.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
I actually think that my clown is someone who's frantically trying to clean up after all the other clowns.
Oh, that's a really fun one.
With a mop that's like going really fast, but like never quite moving. Like it's always going in one direction.
And it's like whack-a-mole because as soon as you clean something else comes
then
out.
someone else spills some whitewash somewhere, and you can. But then for example, like one of the classic jokes would be I grab the mop, but then it stays in the bucket.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, whoa, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or you mop the whole time and it's the wrong end of the mop.
Yeah.
So fun.
And then the mop threads could become someone else's hair, and I turn around and don't recognize them.
Yes.
Or like as you're mopping the water, you keep kind of backing up and into a bucket that keeps spilling, and the water keeps spilling, so it's a
I
sweep all the water into a bucket, then I turn around to.
Yeah.
We've got a really good fucking clown here.
This is great. Yeah.
Well, it's just a personification. It's just like a sort of metaphor of like the pain of life. That's what clowning is, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess sort of that's what
and
mine
that's
kind
what
of
wearing
is.
SPF on a cloudy day.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of, right? Because it's like sort of pernicketily trying to avoid any problems.
Yes.
In many ways, it's what the Unabomber tried to say in his manifesto without saying anything at all.
Yeah,
Without
exactly.
using words.
So you're saying what we've really in pursuing a criminal investigation, the FBI kind of missed out on one of the best clowning performances of the 20th century.
The Unabomber's manifesto, a clown show.
Don't speak that into existence because it's going to be in the Fringe next year.
Can I read you something really quick about the twins?
Okay, please.
Okay, so they were French twin television presenters, producers, and essayists who presented a variety of programming in science fiction, popular science, and cosmology. They were involved in a number of controversies, the most notable being the Bogdanov affair. It brought to light that they received their PhD degrees. They've got PhD degrees.
Wow.
Based on largely nonsensical physics papers.
PhD, pretty huge dick from all the surgery.
That were nonetheless peer-reviewed and published in reputable scientific journals. Isn't that crazy?
So they just kind of got published anyway? Did they just pay to get them all
already?
Right. Wow.
They vanity published
also,
PhDs.
like, I kind of think that like peer reviews, I kind of think a lot of PhDs probably are so advanced and esoteric that a lot of people are like, yeah, probably, maybe that's true.
They apparently they were papers about describing what occurred before the Big Bang.
Wow.
So they went big. They didn't even go like niche. They were let's take the one.
Well, no one can prove you wrong. Like, what, were you there?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're telling me you were there before the Big Bang. Oh, so you know that Goofy wasn't there. Okay.
Which is the Peanut movie.
Yeah. Goofy did an extra big hook.
And then the universe was born.
That's right. Yeah. The Disney adult theory of creation. Like slowly it all has to be rolled into one, like how like the Saturnalia was turned into Christmas or whatever. Like we have to backform a Disney version of events for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
In the beginning was Fantasia. Essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
There was. And Mickey and Minnie lived in the clubhouse, and everything was fine in the clubhouse. But gradually they grew curious, and they started looking for items that would help them later, even though Walt Disney told them not to.
The snake from the Jungle Book offered Minnie the apple from Snow White.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did that happen in the Jungle Book? Is that what happened?
Well, I'm just describing what happened in the Garden of
Oh,
Eden.
that's not what happened in the Jungle Book.
No, because where would the snake from the Jungle Book get the apple from Snow White and offer it to Minnie Mouse of all people?
I guess maybe in the game Kingdom Hearts that could possibly happen.
Going to the soundstage next door. That's the. My sister famously doesn't know what happened in the Jungle Book because my mother took her to see the Jungle Book when she was like, well, however old my sister was when the Jungle Book came out, a small child, and she they used to back in the day because this would have been like the 80s. They used to show cartoons before the film, like short. And she watched the cartoon and she was like, yeah, that's enough for me. Yeah, let's just go. I've seen them. And so they didn't watch it.
I did something very similar when I was a small child as well.
Oh, yeah.
I sort of...
my parents took me to see the Blue Man Group.
Well, yeah, I think I must have been 15 when I saw the Blue Man Group. But no, when I was like...
That's too old for the Blue Man Group, I feel like. That's at its most cool when you're like 10 or when you're like 65. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's...
Well, look, it
like,
didn't come
6
to
is too young.
It didn't come to Canada until I was 15, so what the fuck do you want me to have done?
In Canada.
Go to Vegas at the age of 12 to see the blue. Vegas hadn't become a family destination yet. Yeah. It was going to be 14 years before Vegas was going to become a family destination. It was still mostly about gambling and very mobbed up. By which time
you'd have been 26, it'd have been a nightmare. Yeah, it's very much like Canadian children are held back in their development by like when the Blue Man Group come. It's like, you got to stay in those shorts, boy. The Blue Man Group haven't come yet.
But father, I'm 30.
Yeah.
No, the Blue Man Group haven't come to Kelowna, and damned if I'm paying to go to Vegas.
Spending your 21st birthday at Disney on Ice in Alberta.
They did do a show in Calgary, but we're not going that far. We'll just wait for him to come to Yellowknife. Sooner or later.
Just a few guys coming in from outside. You're blue enough. Bang on a pipe. My boy needs to grow up. Oh my! Oh, the Blue Man Group.
A Canadian bar mitzvah.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
The Blue Mitzvah.
It's mass mass Canadian bar mitzvahs, and there are lots of bar mitzvahs that happen in Canada. It's the Canadian equivalent. So if you're Jewish in Canada, you get two. You get your bar mitzvah, then you get your Blue Man Group.
So Drake's has been to both.
Drake goes to both. Drake goes to an unnervingly large amount of both. Still,
and Drake's been trying to duck and dive the Blue Man Group for years. Technically, I've never seen the Blue Man Group, so it's legal. Yeah,
that's the Canadian government is trying to ambush Drake with a sort of surgical incision of the Blue Man Group into like places he goes. Now he has to avoid it.
Yeah.
if the business is true, and you're not even seen the Blue Man
If
Group?
The three men are blue,
I'm sick to my stomach, fam. Yeah. It's so funny to be in a gang where there's a whole letter of the alphabet you can't use.
Alphabet's out.
Yeah. You could
Alpha-cat, you'd have to call it.
Yeah.
Alpha-cat. Wow.
Let's just say, kind of Fred Again fan, but who's still in like playgroup. Who's like, mate, let's just say I've been doing my Alpha-cat today. Pretty fucking wibbly. I tell you what, I took my first steps over a year ago, but mate, today it feels like I'm doing it again.
So he's been held back 18 years and he's still in reception?
I'm on there. Is anyone using the Glockenspiel? Because I'm about to go fucking sicko on that thing. No, seriously, mate, there's no one I'd rather do finger painting with. Like, no, you're really sound. I'm just really glad that we met, you know?
Yeah. Your pasta necklace is fucking sick.
Yeah. Has anyone got any candy cigarettes?
Yeah.
No, I've run out. No, I'm really sorry. I'm not normally like this. No, I can't roll one. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You're so good at that voice.
Yeah, you're really good. I almost want to give you notes, like give you more things to say. I feel like
I'm past this now.
There's something about do a line about them being like non-committal to their girlfriend, but then proposing to them with a Haribo ring.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not a fuckboy because I don't know what that is, but I just feel like there's a lot of girls in here. It's like half girls in here. And I just feel like but you're the bad. But I just say if we could be like maybe like Polly.